Okay, so, Sonic, but also, Knuckles fought Iblis and took his power and has a fire move based off of Iblis, the Flames of Disaster. I just saw the trailer and my video messed up. That was on my fault, actually, on this point. But I want to rewatch it and then we're going to go into this. But let's just get into this.
You're an alien.
Yes, he is.
You're super powerful.
Yes, he is.
The world with your friends. What do you like to do for fun?
A little, end game.
I was thinking more like reading or...
I love these designs for the characters.
Hey, buddy. Isn't it great to finally relax?
It's so funny hearing Dewey's voice now coming out of Sonic after watching DuckTales.
I am an Echidna warrior.
Yes, he is.
I only remain on Earth because I made a vow to you and the Fox. So I made myself at home.
Nope, we are not turning our living room into some kind of gladiator fighting pit.
Also, can I just love too that like Knuckles, Knuckles is having a trouble adjusting. That like he's having trouble adjusting, and that's a major part of the story. But on that same note too, I love the part where like I'll show a little bit of it. But the part where he fights like these people trying to fix the house after Sonic, and after the last movie, and she goes like, "Sorry, that's our kid. That's one of our kids." And she's like, "Your kid?" I'm like, "All right." I love that they're straight like saying, "Yeah, we adopted these 3 aliens."
What is Ozzy doing here?
You will be challenging.
So many lawsuits.
Is that our mailman?
This is not a place of battle, so I will begin my quest. Come, Wade.
Well, most people think I'm a joke.
I do not make jokes.
Kind of are. I make warriors.
Let's go get him.
A 6-episode event.
Without his little friends, he's vulnerable. He's the
Is he though?
my newest creation.
You worked for Robotnik.
Bring me Knuckles.
Sorry, this lane is reserved.
You think you can take my power?
Callback.
Do I look like I need your power?
What are you talking about? Of course we need his power. It's the whole reason we're here.
Can I say this also? Out of these side villain characters or whatever the hell, he's my favorite. He's my favorite, and honestly, I kind of would have wanted him to voice, like with this person having voiced like a Sonic character, and like how he acts, or whatever. I don't know. Like I'm hoping some people theorize that he's probably gonna help like Stone or Eggman in the next movie, which I kind of think will happen. Especially because they drop a massive ass hint at the very end, but we'll get into that.
Of course we need his power. It's the whole reason we're here.
Only one hero. Also, he gets his hat.
I made a promise to protect this planet.
Idris Elba.
Ready.
Hell yeah.
Someone's about to get slapped.
Knuckles. 6-episode event. Stream it April 26th.
Be a beautiful day.
Alright.
You gonna rescue him?
No, he must learn to rescue himself.
Okay. Alright, and FYI, like, I didn't know what to expect for this series, because I don't watch the trailers beforehand. I just know Knuckles? Hell yeah. I'm like, Knuckles? Hell yeah. You can barely see that, but he's on flat fire. He's pretty much this, but you have the Flames of Disaster overhead. I'm like, okay, I like the Sonic movies. Let's go with this. People on Twitter complain, say like, oh my god, Knuckles is barely in his own show. He's in a majority of the show. Mind you, yes, he's a very expensive character to animate, so he's not going to be like on screen 99% of the time, but he's on it like 70% of the time. He has some good action sequences and all this stuff. And mind you, like I said, I like Legacy of Monsters, don't get me wrong. I love Godzilla and all of them. I'm not sure if you can see them. I love Godzilla and all of them. But I will say, Legacy of Monsters, there were some bits where I was kind of, drifting in and out. And I was like, man, I want to see what happens with Godzilla. I want to see more kaijus. Or, I look at some kaiju designs and I'm like, it's okay. The Iron Dragon's alright. It's not the greatest one. The Arctic Vark, or whatever the hell it's called, that's pretty badass. That was a pretty badass kaiju. That being said, or Titan. That being said, Knuckles is in a majority of this, and maybe 2 episodes, is it just his voice and we focus solely on Wade? Because the whole thing is that, it's pretty much, Knuckles' quote-unquote first movie. And I say that in the sense of, the same way Sonic and Tom had their also Tom's out of town, FYI. The man cost is too expensive for this sideshow. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. The same thing was it's, Tom and Sonic trying to get back Sonic's ring so he can go home and all this stuff. And, eventually, the whole thing with Tom learning, the whole thing. So that's pretty much what this is, but with Knuckles. And also, yes, the side characters, the human characters are followed a bit, but also in that same note, it's kind of ingrained in the DNA of this. If they're gonna do a full-on CG show or cartoon or animated, Prime or something like that, I would 100% go with it. But I will say though too, Prime, Sonic Prime, I love Prime, don't get me wrong, Sonic Prime. I do love that, don't get me wrong, but them saying oh yeah, that's solely the games. No, I honestly like how, just do your own thing with that note. And I feel like Knuckles, the movies kind of do that also, but also following the side characters. It's part of the DNA of these movies, whether it be, Tom with, his whole thing in the first one, to the next, where the part 2 has the whole thing with the wedding, and then on top of this, where it's following mostly Wade trying to get into a bowling tournament, where he was kicked off his team and replaced by this little Girl Scout, and his partner, who's the bounty hunter guy who whipped his legs. Actually, you see him for a minute around here, I think. Yeah, you do. You see him
Protect this planet. I made a promise
let me see.
to protect this planet.
I just want to get Wade's storyline out of the way, even though it takes up a good chunk of this show. Let me see. Where is it? Where the hell is it?
I made a promise
This hits hard.
to protect this planet. I am ready.
Ready.
Oh snap! Someone's about to get slapped.
All right, right there. This guy. Oh, shit. Hold on. Is it forward? It's a little bit forward, isn't it? Yep, yeah, okay. This guy right here, who looks like Machete is twin... Oh, wait, what the hell? Looks like Machete is twin brother. Pretty much that they kick Wade off the team, and Wade's I'm a loser, and he tries to work out, and it doesn't really work out for him. But eventually Knuckles, after having some issues at home, decides to train him to become a great warrior after talking with the elder of his tribe, who's a ghost, okay, let me just show it. Because pretty much Knuckles, he pretty much has there's a lot here. It's funny because this is a complete side story kind of thing, but also on that same note, you get some of the best lore in this show, in this series, which I love. Okay, right here. pretty much Knuckles after pretty much Wade. Fuck, how do I start this off? Okay. Knuckles is having a hard time staying at home. With his new home, he's having a rough time. Like, he does this entire thing for the morning for a workout. Think about this. This kid, because he is like, what, 16? Built all this shit just so he could run through it and nearly get himself killed. I'm just gonna put Knuckles here. There we go. And also, let me say this right now. This is like a love letter to, like...
What type of maniac wakes up at dawn to punch boulders?
Look here, Dewey.
My good pal, Knuckles the Echidna.
But pretty much Knuckles has rough time, you know. What is happening here? He's having a rough time adjusting at home, and pretty much leads to him attacking these workers and creating a much massive lawsuit, because apparently this is like the third or fourth time this happened this month. I think it's actually more. Terrorizes the shit out of these people.
Did you call us up to fix your house so you could hunt us for sport?
No. I could see why it might look like that, but one of our kids gets a little...
Your kid did this.
Yes, her kid did this. Her kid is also an alien. All three of them are, actually. Sonic and Tails only make like an appearance in the first episode. And also, if I had to think about it, Sonic like narrates the beginning, and that's it. He does not narrate any other part of this entire series. Sonic says, you know, try to make this place your home. Knuckles makes this.
In a ritual battle or trial, merely the sea. Good morning, pretzel woman.
Morning, Knuckles.
She is on the edge of going crazy.
Is that an iron thrown at our breakfast table?
Good morning. What is that?
Merely the seat that designates my role as family champion. If you wish to claim it, you must simply defeat me in a ritual battle or trial by combat.
What do you mean, trial by combat?
Come, Fox. I will show you. I heeded the hedgehog's advice and made myself at home.
Wow. Love what you've done with the place, Nut. It's very, Conan chic.
Pretty much he gets grounded, and that's when he then, you know, asks the elders for help. And that's when this dude, who's Takal's dad, which I'm pretty sure we see him in the first movie,
Are you kidding me?
pop up.
Lost again? Assassin!
Green Hills cheerleaders raise funds and spirits, building on basketball success of next season. Second win for local state quilting contest. I'm actually wondering if there's something specific here. Happy, healthy equals, promote healthy lifestyle choices. No, because there's, like, okay.
It's me.
Also, is that Christopher Lloyd?
Chief Pachacamac?
There you go, Chief Pachacamac.
Good to see you, my boy. Now, put down the rubber chicken and give your old chief a
He's incorporeal. And then...
The legacy
He's no good.
of the echidna is in your arms. Stupid.
he's corporeal.
How does this ghost stuff even work? Ah, there we go.
I love the dragging himself.
Fate is in your hands.
I won't let you down.
Pretty much the idea is that he sets him on the quest to teach people, because he's the last echidna, to teach others the way of the echidna, and that way they can, in a sense, like, still be there, the echidnas. And his idea and his thing is he has to teach Wade, who, you know, wants to win this bowling champion after losing to Susie, this little girl. And pretty much... And then while that's going on, these two pop up. Okay, hold on. Let's go to Wade's story first. Wade's whole thing is he wants to go to a bowling championship, which... He wants to go to a bowling championship, which it's like, okay, well, that's just random. I guess, all right, fine, this is the story. But it turns out the reason for that is because his dad is actually the reigning champion there at Reno for this bowling championship. And the reason why that's a big thing is because his dad left him, abandoned his family and everything at TJ Maxx's because sponsorship. Left him at TJ Maxx's to go become a professional bowler and just utterly abandon his family. And also has a whole thing about being British, even though he's not British. And, like, it's an insane thing, too, because he, like, even has a bowling ball. I don't know if you see it in here. I don't think you do. But no, you don't. But he has a bowling ball that literally has a cup of tea, like, inside of it. And it's insane. And the whole thing is that, like, Wade wants to do this so he can reunite with his dad and, you know, try to make amends. And it's, like, and the entire time, FYI, I'm just watching this, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, this guy. I'm like, okay, that's, like, he sounds like a deadbeat. And he is. Like, at one point, he betrays him. And, like, FYI, there's a point where, spoilers for this. Go watch it. I liked it a lot. I think you'll like, if you like the song movies, I think you'll like this. There's a point where he betrays Wade and Knuckles and all them to the bad guys. And they say, this is worse than you leaving us. And I'm like, is it though? Is it? Like, honestly, that's some horrible, horrible shit. Like, just abandoning a young kid at TJ Maxx's to just go. Like, that's awful. I think that's honestly worse than them betraying him to the bad guys. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, there's some bad guys in this, and I feel like that's the worst bad guy in this entire... This guy's the worst bad guy in this entire thing. But that being said, like, the whole thing is, like, you know, eventually through certain antics and all this stuff, like the destruction of this place, Wade gets a bounty on him. Him and Knuckles go to Wade's mom's house, and he kind of bonds with the mom a bit. You see her right there. Kind of bonds with the mom a bit. And pretty much the whole... And like, it's very Wade focused, FYI. Like, Wade is the one learning from Knuckles to be a warrior, and stand up for himself and have more courage and all this stuff. And eventually, you know, fight up, like, beat his deadbeat dad at bowling. I really like that they like this too, like just to focus on this story real quick so I can get into all the Knuckles stuff. I really do like that it didn't, like, because the whole idea is that Knuckles say, like, you shall fight your great enemy in the battle, your battleground. And I do like Wade specifically tells him, like, it's bowling, here's the bowling alley, this is how we battle. And I like it's not just like, oh, you know, like, Knuckles a misunderstanding, and they're like, oh, yes, now you must kill him, or some shit like that. It's not that. Knuckles immediately knows, okay, it's a game. Alright, fine, this is your bowling, fine. And a lot of this, and then pretty much, again, Knuckles, after being grounded and by Pretzel Woman, him and Wade go to Reno, they have their whole adventure thing, Wade gets captured by bounty hunters, all this stuff, versus his dad at one point, and eventually, you know, goes into a championship against them, and it's a fun little story. It's a fun story, he learns different things about himself. He learns about, you know, standing up, learning about his deadbeat dad and all this stuff. Yeah, it's great. While that's going on, there's these two guys, which you would think are bad guys are at the time of it, but, like, they disappear for, like, 2 or 3 episodes. These guys are 2 gun agents. Which,
Willoughby, I've got a problem. Code Red. Knuckles has left the Green Hill Zone. We have to inform Commander Walters.
Don't worry, Agent Fairley. I've been aware since the second he left town, and am in complete control of the situation.
Ma'am, you just took our SAT surveillance offline.
yes.
There's no way anyone in HQ can...
Also, my voice recording. I actually want to make sure this is going. Okay, good.
track Knuckles now, except you. With that device.
And look, they have the rings.
What's going on?
Run.
For your work, Agent Fairley, you are dismissed.
I hear the mushroom planet is beautiful this time of year, my friend. Enjoy!
You're pretty proud of yourself for someone who just kicked an unsuspecting man in the chest.
Yeah, I am.
Right, come on.
This man just has fun this entire series, and I love him. This man is so goddamn fun. But yeah, takes him to the bowling alley, shows off all of it, shows him, like, you know, what he's do. And like he says, like, you know, he wants to reconnect with his dad. Dad's a deadbeat. Doesn't really matter. And, you know, like, eventually beats him. And like, and here's the thing too, like, this show knows how to play with you, because honestly, if they would have went with like ending of like spoilers, I guess, for like, if let's say a certain character would lose, I kind of would understand. I would be like, yeah, all right, it's a joke, haha, whatever. Especially because this show has a bit of mean-spiritedness a little bit to certain characters, like Wade, but also like it knows when a character's bad. Also, Knuckles straight destroys, like, let me see, is it here?
Take aim at your pins. And
Nobody even flinches. I think someone would have said something. But like when they hide out at their Wade's mom's place for like a bit, and they kind of have the whole thing where Wade's mom kind of like they have I forgot what the hell it's called. And they have this, I guess, Jewish thing, this Jewish like tradition where like every week or so they have a day where, like, you know, mom cooks a bunch of food, dessert, lights these candles, and a family's just supposed to stay together, eat food, eat together, watch movies and all that stuff until the candles eventually melt away. A fun little thing. But then also they go into like the whole backstory that like every time they've ever had this, like Wade's sister, who's like an FBI agent, supposedly, who's an FBI agent, just completely ruins it. And mind you, these again, this is a cartoon, and mind you, this is like a 90s cartoon. And I say that in the sense of certain like mean-spiritedness, or just how petty, like, him and his sister go at it like kids, even though they're like 30-something. I love this a lot because they just go at each other. But then, like, also, like, Wade's sister, Wanda, is an asshole. Mind you, even his mom is an asshole. Or at least a bad mom. I don't know. Because there's a point where, like, we see the past where, like, we see the sister tormenting Wade, and the mom's just like, like, rolling her eyes, but not doing anything about it. I'm like, get her off! Or the point where Wanda straight stabs Wade with a fork, and the mom gets mad at Wade at one point. Wanda and Wade. I'm like, no! She stabbed him! Oh, oh God. But it is funny, though, because at one point, the bad guys have the mom and Wanda at a gunpoint, and they say, bring us Knuckles, or I'll shoot your sister. And Wade's like, I'm okay with that. And he was like, what? And then points out at the mom, like, I'll shoot your mom. Like, not my mom. I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny. But yeah. And also these agent guys, which again are fun to watch. These two agents have technology brought by Mr. Beard Guy, who I don't think we ever got a name for, but Mr. Beard Guy, who then gave them like this technology, like these cool like Vi, like from Fortnite, from Arcane's like gloves, like power gloves to punch with, and like apparently he worked with Robotnik. He helped build stuff, and Gunn tried to execute him, which I think this is all supposed to be leading up to Sonic 3, but anyway, so they try to execute him, and he survived, and because of that, he, like, you know, wants revenge on Gunn, and he wants Knuckles so he can drain him of his power, so he can then use it to power up his suit, this giant robot suit that you see in, it's very similar to the first movie of Sonic. Just extended out between 6 episodes, which is still fun. Like, each episode was still fun, though. That's the thing. But his hat. He also gets his hat from the bounty hunter guy. But so they go out to track him down. Also, at one point when the bounty hunters eventually come to get Wade, and like they straight break and enter into their house, and Knuckles and the mom, who knows the I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Magrakraw, whatever. It knows that, and you see them beating the shit, like fighting and beating shit. And mind you, also you can tell they CGI'd the face to make it look like the mom, the stunt double. But there are some like a ton of like their whole fighting thing with that. Before that, like when Knuckles does get kidnapped before this, before the bounty, like they hide in this thing, and Wade has this whole like James Bond like idea of how to get. I'm jumping everywhere. I'm sorry, but he has this whole James Bond like thought process of what he's gonna do to get in there, and I kind of wanted to see him try to do this plan, because he does this whole plan. You see it. Where is it? It's one of these. You see this whole plan where like he's gonna use oil slick, make the guy, make the one agent slide on it. He's gonna clothesline him. He's gonna use hairspray. He's gonna use hairspray and thing to burn him, and then but what the funniest part was he's gonna use dental floss as a line to peril down like Mission Impossible to then. To come down there, and I'm like, I want to see him try that with floss. Let me see him try to do that with floss. And then at the end, he has fireworks, so they explode, and that way his Knuckles can give him a hug, and you know it's a whole friendship moment. None of that happens. He immediately blows up his own car, which gives a distraction for him to get in there. Gets the shit beat out of him until he gets like lucky. Until he gets Sriracha, the one dude's eye, knocks him out, and the one bowl cut lady goes, what? And Wade walks out and goes, man, you should see the other guy. Then looks down at him like, oh, there he is. I'm like, all right, that's a cool ass line. God, Wade. But anyways, but that's saying too, a lot, the main thing also is Knuckles slowly learning about family and slowly learning about, you know, having a home, you making this place his home now and all this stuff. And we also, like, but the thing is, too, we get a lot of lore in this, also. Like, I talked about Machete's twin brother over here.
Someone's about to get slapped.
Machete's twin brother here, like, they have a whole rock opera thing where pretty much Wade gets captured, you kind of see, it gets captured, put in a cage, and he has to then talk with the elders of the Echidna clan, and they do a rock opera to give Knuckles his backstory, talking about how his dad died, which I think was also, like, they made him look, I think, kind of like Ken Penders, the asshole who ended the Archie's Comic Sonic stuff, because he said, like, I own all the Knuckles characters, except Knuckles, like, and screw you, bud. But, because of him, I won't ever see Shade again in another game, as well as a bunch of other characters, unless they make their own version, which, hell yes. But Knuckles, they do a whole rock opera thing where Knuckles says, like, you know, my people were killed by giant owls, and like, again, we're seeing from the opposite end, though. I don't think Knuckles really knows that, like, hey, yeah, your people, like Knuckles' people, were the ones that did attack, you know, a certain owl's hedgehog son, And, you know, she then got blood back for it. But we learn things like, you know, Knuckles, you know, traversing, you know, other worlds. And they do like a whole thing where, like, he's jumping, you know, Wade's as Knuckles. At one point, he even talks with Idris Elba's voice. Like, you know, going through, like, the whole thing like a video game, like the video game, but it's all cardboard and stuff, which is really funny how they did all of it. But then also, like, we see Badniks, like classic B Badniks and stuff floating around, and I'm thinking, like, is this trying to say that there's going to be, like those Badniks aren't specifically built by Robotnik, but something else? Which is cool. But also, on that same note, we find out that he fought, the Flames of Disaster. Which, hold on. Yeah. Shoot, hold on. Episode Flames of Disaster. Technique. Let me see, is this it? Wait, Flames of Disaster is a power-up from Sonic Speed Battle? Wait, it is? I didn't know that. Let me see here. Knuckles. Fire Demon. Oop. Yeah, right here. The Fire Demon, the Flames of Disaster, a.k.a. Iblis, a.k.a. half a Solaris, a.k.a., you know, the half and or brother of, let me see here. Yep. Mephiles the Dark! How is this gonna tie into shit? I have no damn idea. But they set up Iblis, and so Mephiles exists in the movies. Mephiles and Solaris exist in the movies, which, again, I'm wondering how is this going to tie into shit, because because this isn't the only, because one, massive lore drop, great, cool, but the thing about this also is that, you have a shit ton of fun things that happen in this. You know, the different interactions, the characters having fun with off each other, the bounty huntings, all this stuff. But, and like, again, the whole side human story, I think, is still pretty funny. And, you know, Knuckles getting some cool power. But during the final bowling thing, also the bad guys had during the final fight, which, when, like, because the whole thing was that Wade was supposed to betray Knuckles and send him up into the penthouse where he was going to get captured, and then they shoot, like, a mascot that looked like Knuckles instead, and pretty much Knuckles fights him back, and like they were using Wade's phone to hear everything he says. That way he didn't try to tell Knuckles anything, but they didn't see when they gave Knuckles an earbud, so he could hear it all. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty smart. I was like, all right, that's a pretty smart way to do that. I was wondering how he was gonna tell Knuckles. Whole fight happens. Knuckles punches these two rings, which creates a wormhole that sucks the two gun agents, ex-gun agents, into it, and then just the agents the rings just kind of hit and explode, and we don't know what happened to the agents. So they're either dead or I have no idea. But that being said, Knuckles, this whole fight happens, and then the announcer guys straight say, like, wow, I don't think any other bowling championship has ever had a little alien creature come in and destroy things. And that's when the announcer says, wait, I actually heard something about this happening back in the tournament of 1974. Which I'm like, 1974, you say? If I take, 2024 and subtract it by 1974, you get 50 years ago. And let me remember, who was it that whose backstory is that he was created 50 damn years ago? Oh, right. Shadow the Hedgehog. Which I'm like, what? So not only did this show set up that yes, Iblis exists in this universe. Yes, Knuckles fought Iblis and gained an ability known as the Flames of Disaster. That I guess also is apparently an ability that came from other games too, but you know, looks like they're tying it to Iblis. Fire ability stole from the Fire Demon. Technique is named after Iblis, the Sonic the Hedgehog, and character often referred to as the Flames of Disaster. Not only, okay, actually, we have the Flames of Disaster, so we have Iblis announced. We have Tikal's dad in here, which could lead to something along the lines of chaos. We then also have, 50 years ago, which I guess in Sonic 3 we're going to see it, an event happening where, the bowling thing where apparently Shadow was at, and Shadow fought, like disrupted somehow. So Shadow was on Earth 50 years ago. Though, mind you, I guess I'm going to go ahead and call this right now, in theory, whatnot. When they say, like, this happened 50 years ago, I'm going to go ahead and guess. Give me a minute. Hello? Sorry, back. But I'm going to go ahead and guess, like, I'm going to call it right now. Like, it's going to be the opening cutscene of Sonic 3. It's going to be the opening cutscene of Sonic 3, or at least this is going to be shown, where you're going to have what happened on the Ark. We're going to have, everything that happened with, Shadow, Maria possibly getting killed. Maybe not. I don't know how this one's going to go. But Shadow's going to get in the pod. Maria's going to set him down, and he's going to come crashing down to Earth, and that's where he's going to crash into Reno, into the bowling championship of 1974. And that's where Gun, or whatever they're called at that time, Fearless, from Fearless, Year of Shadow. But that's when Shadow's going to crash down and make an appearance. And that's where, the whole thing, oh yeah, he crashed down to this point. And that's where, the movie will continue off of, 50 years later and all this stuff. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to call that right now. I'm guessing that's probably what will happen. That being said, by God, the movie, that stuff's great. That's such a cool way to give so much lore and, different things. Because I don't know. At least for me, I've been wanting Iblis and Mephiles to return. I don't know how this is going to tie into things. Because, one, again, you have Tikal's dad. So you could tie in... So you could bring in Chaos. You could bring in Chaos with this. You have that Iblis does exist. And also I love the puppet that they actually used for it and everything. The Iblis does exist, and Knuckles stole that power. So you have different Sonic gods right now, existing. And also, apparently, I don't know, actually. It seems like the Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails' power, the crackly energy, can be taken. So I'm not entirely sure, is it that they generate it, or is it a power that, they just have inside them? Because they didn't think about it, too. None of the other echidnas seem to have that power. But who knows? We also have a bit of magic, obviously, with Pachacamac appearing. Also, at one point, Wade rides a bicycle in a jousting with katanas made by, Atari Kuzo or something? It was like that. And I'm like, is that an Atari reference? But, yeah, the Flames of Disaster. His dad betrayed him. Olive Garden. Oh, yeah. This girl, this lady. This lady is literally the one who not only, she brings up, I'm tired of buying the gift cards and setting up fake weddings. And I'm like, oh, she did that. That's great. Balls, pins, body parts. Can't remember what the hell that's even for. Oh, yeah, what he wants to sign. Ball, pins, body parts. Also, at one point, it says Kevin James is headlining at Reno. Is Kevin James going to play Big the Cat or Vector or something? It wouldn't surprise me. Wade also goes by the Warriors at one point, or now after he fights his friend Jack, who's the bounty hunter guy who Knuckles gets the hat from. Also, like, there's a, like, mind you, this is somewhat low budget, but like it is kind of funny. Like, one, yeah, you could tell the mom was most likely had her face CG'd for the fight scenes. But also, like, there's stuff that, like, is done intentionally. Like, when Wade has the whole, like, James Bond, like, you know, oh, this is how I'm going to break in and beat everyone. And, like, you see at one point where, like, he does flips and everything, and you straight up see, like, it's not him. It's not him. It's, like, something completely different. And then it switches to Wade after the thing. I'm like, all right, that's fine. After he walks past the beam, like, all right, fine. I hope Knuckles keeps this hat. I hope I see this hat in, like, I hope they start selling this hat, honestly. Jim Gun Agent. Wanda is a dick for no reason. Yep. That is happening with Shevat dinner. Why is there a goat? Yeah. Do not Wanda between. Oh yeah, Wanda wanded between Knuckles' junk. Like, and Knuckles like, what the hell? Like, I'm like, yeah. Wade Whipple's solid 3 is what he's gonna put on his dating robot when Knuckles. Then he's like, from 1 to Warrior, where am I at? He's like, you're a solid 3. He's like, I'll put that on my dating profile. It's like, God. And, like, again, there's a lot of stupid humor in this. Like, here's the thing. If you like old 90s movies, like the kind of cheesy, like, kind of stuff like that, and, like, you're probably going to like this a lot, because this is very much what it tries to go for. 100%. From the soundtrack to, you know, the storyline, the sports storyline, all this stuff. It's very much what it's going for. Like, is the bad guys all that great? Not really. This guy's just like, I'm building this robot and gonna take down Gun, and I need that red demon to do it, and, you know, whatever. But I love, but, like, even then, like, it's fine. He's just the bad guy there. The 2 other guys, I could see them, the 2 other gun agents, I could see them popping up with Stone in the next movie. I want to see more things too, because again, the Iblis thing with, like, power-ups and, like, the flames of disaster ability is freaking rad. That he stole this from a god. And again, you're entering the different gods of Sonic the Hedgehog into this. Yes, I want to see Mephiles appear. I want to see Shadow appear. I want to see, like, them explain what the Ren energy is to their energies. The energy that Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow have. Hopefully, maybe Shadow will explain more on it. Hell, like, I honestly do think we're gonna see Black Doom. Either in a cutscene or something. Like, Black Doom is gonna make an appearance in the movies. If they brought in Iblis, they're gonna bring in Black Doom for Shadow. I'm pretty sure. If Shadow doesn't get his own series that follows that lineup, where it's gonna be in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Which comes out in a few months. But, in either case, this show is great. This show is really fun. If you like the movies, I think you're gonna like this. Is it just, would I prefer Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails all just hanging out and shit? Yes. Where it's just a full Sonic, you know, CGI movie, all 3 of them, stuff? Yes. But also on that same note, the side characters are part of the DNA of this. And unlike, let's say, something like the Monsterverse, where, like, they can switch out the human characters, or, like, Planet of the Apes, this like, the human characters are part of this, and are characters in it that help with the family dynamic, that help with these characters learning about Earth and all this stuff, and I honestly think it's kind of fun. And also, this is still probably my favorite Knuckles design. But yeah, this is great. I like this a lot. I really hope we're gonna get more shorts and or, like, series like that. Like, I would want a Shadow series after Sonic 3, if anything. But if they did also, like, a Tails, like, little mini one too, like with Tails hanging out with his stepmom and something like that, like little shorts like that, I think would also be kind of cool and cute. And we could get a little bit more of his backstory. I gotta read the comic for Sonic 2. I'll probably do that before the movie comes out, the 3rd movie comes out. But yeah, I like this a lot. Tell me what you think below. Thanks for watching. Check out videos I've done. Links are on my Facebook. Check out videos. Hopefully you enjoy this. I love this. I love the power up. I love the different abilities. I love that they enter the God things. Yes, there's a whole shit of bowling in this. At one point, I'm like, what am I watching for a Knuckles show? But it gets to but it hits such the goodest spots with like certain plot points with Knuckles, like learning family, but also learning about Knuckles, what he happened in between the first movie and the second movie. Learning that, the different Sonic gods are in this. I'm excited to see what happens next. Thanks for watching pre videos. Hopefully you enjoy this. I have no idea how Mephiles would tie into any of this. Maybe Shadow could learn Mephiles' shadow abilities, dark abilities. That'd be kind of interesting. This guy learned fire abilities. Why not? If anything, actually, because they could. I don't know if I want Mephiles in the next movie. I don't think you need him for that. But Knuckles' Flames of Disaster could lead to him help fighting against Mephiles, because that's an ability that could probably harm him. I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Share videos I've done. Links for my Facebook, Instagram, videos. Hope you enjoyed this, and we will. Hold on. Actually, see you later. And that's the thing too. Like Knuckles, not saying I didn't like Knuckles, but I want to say the movies, honestly, I think made Knuckles one of my more favorite like Sonic characters. Where I'm like, okay, yeah, I love this guy so much, and this just adds way more cool to it.